and the lockdown series for giving this opportunity. And thank you all friends for joining in here. So I hope I'm clear on my sound and all.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect. So before we start, some rules for the day, right? So we all will be on mute, right? And I'll give you some time to speak out, because generally when I do a classroom sessions, all interactive. But then it is like unmute, speak, and again mute. So let's follow that rule, right? And since I've got 1 hour's time, so let's try and make the most of it and cover up everything out. So once again, welcome you all. And what you can see on the slide is power to succeed. And can somebody tell me, or if you want, you can always chat it out and type it out so that I can read it out. So what do you see on the screen? So unmute and speak. What is it that's on the screen? Anyone? So the screen, what is seen is, it says a key to success, right? And the key has been pointing towards a brain. And we are talking about power to succeed. So power to succeed is, it's all about your mindset. Do I have the key to success? And we say yes, the key to success is all in our hands, the way you look at things. So welcome to today's session, a power pack session to power to succeed. You all are successful people, and I would like to have your views on what success means to you, right? So now you all agree that the power to success is a mindset that we all have. If you agree to it, you can type a yes, and so I know that you all are with me, and you can all hear me out. Okay, so I'm also trying to enter some more people into it, because that's so. So what if you all agree that it is a relative word, success, and it's all in a mindset. Success is all a mindset, and if you all agree to that, I would like you to type in a Y or a, so that I know that you are with me, you can hear me clearly, and I can go ahead to the next part. Yeah, perfect. So now that you all agree that the power to success is a mindset that we all have. Okay, then I come to the next point out here, is that what you believe is holding us from achieving our success. So what is holding us from level of success, right? So whatever level of success we are at, why do we believe we are not at the level of success that we want to be? That is what the purpose of this session today, because we all want to succeed. We all have achieved a success, but we still are not clear where we want to be. So many times people believe that I lack the resources to achieve what I want to achieve. Or maybe for some people, something is holding them back. The fear inside that I have, that maybe I have an internal conflict. I have a conflict of values. I have a conflict of fear, because of which I'm not able to give my 100%, right? So if I want to succeed, then who do I need to be to achieve what I want to? Can somebody type it out, that if I want to succeed, then who do I need to be to achieve what I want to? Would somebody like to type out? Yeah? Who do I need to be to succeed then? So if I live into my past, and if I have my experience of past and I take that as my role model for the future, will I be able to achieve success? As per Albert Einstein, his quote for insanity, Pagalpan, he said that doing the same thing again and again and again and expecting different results. So are we doing the same thing? So if I want to succeed, am I doing the same thing? Am I following the same path again and again and again and expecting a different results? So that is where we are wrong. So if I want to succeed and I want to change my mindset and do a different way, so come out of the past and let's start ahead. So now, what success means to us? So what is success? Success is achievement of your vision or your planned goals, achieving your status, your fame, your wealth, whatever it is. So success has different meaning to different people. So can somebody chat it out, write it down, what does success mean to you? So success for somebody could be just lazing around. Success for somebody could be, the lockdown and the best time that we are having. That could be a success. Success could be buying the best of clothes is a success. Success could be earning the money so that my wife can spend out every money that I earn. That could be a success. So success has different meaning to different people. Okay. So anyone would like to share what success means to them? Yeah, so Mayank says success to earn a recognition. Very good. So now recognition is what? What kind of recognition you want? So I need to be very clear into understanding what kind of a recognition I want. Do I need a recognition to my office, my society, my, my, the tribe that I am into? Where, what kind of a, okay, so he writes my brand in the industry. Perfect. So you need to be very clear into what success means to us. Perfect. So now we are here to see what are the different mantras of success that we can apply into our lives to be more successful. So we are going to talk about the mantra, which is having a purpose, being proactive to begin with an end, being motivated, time management, sharpening the saw, and the belief. Now, these are the mantras that we are going to go into it. Now, the first thing is having a purpose. So, what do you mean by purpose? Now, I've got a very powerful slide here, which says that the two most important days in our life are the day you are born and the day you discover the reason why. So, these are the two most. So, now, do we know why we are here in this world? What is the purpose? What am I doing here? What am I living for? Until unless I don't have this purpose with me, I'm just loitering around. I'm just going from A point to B point, not knowing what I want in life. So, I just want to welcome you all, and I want you all to pat yourself out because you all participants have been day in, day out into this learning session, right? Spending your 1 hour, I'm sure you are here to learn something from here. And that is the purpose that you have with you, right? So a round of applause to all of you for being here for that purpose. So purpose can be big, purpose can be small, right? Now, one more example, if I have to give you, the current scenario going on COVID-19, and you have read about, so purpose, I would say, is purpose is a determination that you have. Okay. Now connecting to COVID-19, you have read about the lady Razia Begum, right? She's staying in Hyderabad and she traveled to Vellore 1400 kilometers to get her son back on a scooty. Now, a purpose, a solid example of purpose. Had Razia Begum ever imagined in her lifetime that she would be traveling alone? 1400 kilometers is almost 15 to 20 hours through the jungles, through the forest from Hyderabad to Vellore. This is called as purpose. Now, when you have a purpose in life, you take any amount of challenge and you try to achieve that purpose. But if there is no purpose, then you just don't do anything. Now, when this purpose was there for Razia Begum, when she said, I need to get my son back from Nellore, she must have done some planning into her mind, right? She must have done some planning. She must have done a planning. How will I going to go? What am I going to do? How am I going to travel? What all prepare? After the purpose is met. So to get anything in life, purpose is very important. Purpose has to be done. So yes, KS is writing, yes, strong will in mind is always required. Yes. So we say the stronger the purpose, the harder the hardships you are willing to accept. Okay. So now we do have a purpose, but how to achieve this purpose? What are the steps we will have to take to achieve this purpose? Now, if I'm taking example of Razia Begum, when she ventured out onto this purpose of hers, did she have in her mind saying that what if I meet in an accident? What if there are decoys on the road? What if I'm not able to achieve? What if something goes wrong with me? Did she have this mindset in her mind? If she had this mindset, she would never have able to achieve her goal. Okay, so to achieve a purpose, the very important thing what I need is a proactive mindset. Now, what is a proactive mindset? Proactive mindset means that you are taking decisions for your own life. Nobody else can take your decisions. So yes, Siddhartha is saying no looking back, one set to go ahead. Very rightly said. So let's say the definition proactive is taking responsibility for our lives. Proactive people recognize that they are responsible and they don't blame genetics, they don't blame environment, they don't blame circumstances or anything else towards what is happening to them. It is my life, I take charge of it. I cannot blame anybody else for what is happening to me. That is called as my proactive mindset. Now, you all will agree with me that many a times, sometimes the most difficult experience that we have, okay, becomes a crucible that forges our character and develops internal power, the power to help us fight any difficulties and the power to guide people out. That is a proactive mindset. Now, giving an example here for this cancer survivors, okay, they have gone through so much of hardship, they have got taken the treatment, they've got cured and all, but the kind of hardship they've taken has molded them, they've made them so strong into their mind that they then become a crucible and they take this fight and they help other people who are going to similar cases. So they start their own community towards health. So now, example that I want to give you towards proactiveness is the ability to control one's environment rather than have it control you. Now, I want to give an example of Viktor Frank. Now, anybody knows who Viktor Frank is? He has been given out lots of quotes, and one of his very important quotes is, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And that is what we are doing now in the current situation, because I cannot change what is happening around, so I'm trying to change myself by learning new ways of doing my business. So whatever way I was doing my business, can I change my business? Yes, I will have to look into ways to change my business. So change is utmost. Yes, so Amit says yes, he wrote a book. Perfectly fine. He has written a book. He has written a book, Man's Search for Meaning. Now, talking about Victor, Victor is a physicist from Austria, and he held by the Nazis 4 times, and he's come out of the camp. Now, how and he's written all his experiences into this book called as Man's Search for Life. Now, what I have to say is, he says that after his experience in the camp, he developed the theory that it's through a search for meaning and purpose in life that individuals can endure hardships and sufferings, and that he calls as human freedom. So, when he was tortured by the Nazis, he says that the Nazis has power, or they could influence his physical body. They had a control on his physical, but they did not have control on his mind. So the best way of how he could survive and come out of the camp, wherein he saw all his loved ones being uh, dead, he says, is being aware of what is happening to me, but then I decided, how do I want to respond to the external stimulus that is coming to me. So the response to the external stimulus that I have decides upon the way you are responding, and this is what is called as the power to freedom or power of your mind, right? So the proactive mindset people always have a power to respond and not react to the situation. So when we react, we keep on giving excuses, but when you respond, then you know what you are working for and what is it that you want, and accordingly you respond, right? So respond, proactive people. Now, so if we have to see what proactive people and how do we respond, so I want to doing an activity here. Okay, I want to drawing a circle, and uh, in that circle, I want you putting in all those things that you have a control of in your life. And this things that you have control of in your life could be your work, your people, your family, your if you are into you're a manager, you're working in an organization, so your team is in your control, your knowledge is in your control, your skills are in your control. So all those things becomes a part of the circle. So if I have to show you the circle, so I want you drawing a circle of control, which is all those things that you have control of. So your work is your control, your organization is your control, your family is your control, your thoughts are your control, your way of life is your control, your health is your control, right? Your people are your control, your coaching for your people is a control. All those things that you can take care of is your control. Now out of the circle, then draw another circle, which is a circle of concern. Now in the circle of concern, you put all those things which are there around you, but which you cannot do anything about. Like in a current scenario, if I'm taking COVID-19, we cannot do anything about it. Okay, the environment, the pollution, the traffic, we cannot do anything about it. The political scenario happening on, we cannot do anything about it. Now, if I'm working, my organization, if my boss is not good, my management, whatever, they are not in my control. They are my concern, but not in my control. Now, what happens is, reactive people mostly spend their time and energy into things which are not in their concern. So if I spend my time into this area and with negative people. Now giving simple example. Say you have a friend calling up in the scenario and saying, hi, yeah, what's happening? Yeah, बहुत बोरियत हो रही है. So boring है, कुछ करने को नहीं है. Office में the whole day I'm just locked up in the house and not doing anything. And you pick up a phone and say, oh wow. I mean, I'm doing the best out of my time that I have. I'm learning, I'm on webinars, I'm reading, I'm spending time with my family. I'm also helping my wife take care of the chores that she's otherwise in the house. I'm managing my time so well. I'm really blessed that I have this time for my family. So you see the difference between two people. One person is a very reactive person who's always blaming, whereas the other person, you, who's so proactive, takes the best of the situation and thinks that you can earn from here. So like on the right, I'm showing you is how the proactive mindset and the reactive mindset works out, right? Yes. So Mayank is saying, yes, is this similar to circle of influence? Yes, Mayank, it is something similar, because when you are able to have a control over things, in that scenario, then you can influence people. Like suppose if I have a team of people, my team, if I tell them that why they are working for me, what is in it from them, I can influence them to give that extra effort and put in extra effort, right? So when I take charge of my things in my control, I'm able to influence more people into the right way. Yes. So now we have seen the mindset of people. So like you see on the left hand side, the circle, how reactive people act. For them, the circle of concerns increases and their circle of control decreases out, and they are always living in the negatives. Why should it be? Why am I the one? Why am I suffering? Why is like this? Why is like this? So they're always in the why. Okay, it's now perfectly fine. Now that we have taken control of the important things in our life, and we can let's look into the bigger picture, your vision. Okay, so let's go to the next, which we are going to talk about the vision. Begin with an end in mind. So what is a vision? So vision is that something you want to achieve in your lifetime. Now I'm trying to put in some examples of what the effective people do to be more successful. Okay, so it's about starting your day with a clear picture of your destination, so that you can plan your day and you can achieve what you want to achieve. So you know what direction you have to go and you're able to achieve what you want to achieve. So let us see the definition. The begin with the end in mind means to begin each day, task, or project with a clear vision of your desired direction and destination, right? And then flexing your proactive mind towards happening that. And we started visualizing. Now, it is based on the principle that all things are created twice, once in your mind and the other physical. Okay, so we are a creative person. We have a creative vision in our mind, and your mind can create whatever you want. So simple example, you're taking a plot for a house and you want to build up a house. Now you have called for an interior designer or an architect and says, "Mera itna plot hai, I want to build a house." So the architect is going to ask you, okay, tell me what you want. Unless you don't give him the specifications, he'll not be able to give you what the drawings, right? So whatever you want first has to be in your mind. You visualize. The more you visualize, the better the clarity you will keep on having. So initially, I visualized that I want to have 1+1. I want to have a hall in my kitchen on the ground floor. I want to have 3 bedrooms on the top. Then the more I visualize this dream of mine, and then I think, yeah, I need to have a bedroom down as well, in case what if elders come in and they're not able to climb the stairs. So the more I visualize, the better I become at my dreaming, and I am able to portray what I want, and then it comes as a blueprint, and then it comes as a physical achievement, right? Now, the power of visualization, how important is this? So we say whatever you visualize, it becomes your reality. Now there's a Garfield on visualization, and he has to say that all the athletes are using the power of visualization. And what they do is, the athletes, before they actually go on the field, they see it, they feel it, they experience it, and only then they go for it. So before I go for it, I have visualized where I want to be, what I want to achieve in life, and that is how athletes go about doing it. Okay, so they all begin with an end in mind. Is it fine? Perfectly fine. Are you all with me here? If yes, please type Y, so I know that I'm going in the right direction. Perfectly. So Amrita saying yes, Krishna saying yes. Okay, fine. So now I have a vision. I know what I want to achieve in life. But to achieve something, I also need to have a goal, right? Because if I don't have a goal and it becomes a wish, I need to plan out to achieve. Begum, she had a purpose to get a, so she had a planning. It was just not a goal for her, a dream or a wish. She implemented it out to get it into a reality. So we need to have a goal in life, and we need to get the goal going. So what kind of a goal we need to have? So we said that we got to have a SMART goal. So anybody knows what is a SMART goal for? SMART goal is, it has to be a specific, has to be measurable, it is achievable, realistic, bound. So for a simple example, I want to lose weight, and I go to a gym and I ask an instructor, I'm saying that, hey guy, I need to lose weight, I need to lose 10 kilos of weight, and I want to build up my biceps, so I want to do it in 2 months time. So the instructor is going to say me, sorry ma'am, it cannot be possible in 2 months time, but yes, if you give me time, we can do the same thing in 10 months. So are you with me? So I said, okay, fine, 10 months done. Exercising, and come into the gym, 1 hour of treadmill, 1 hour of weight, cycling, all those things, weight plan, and everything is gives me, and saying you have to follow this out. Now I start my exercising, I follow his plan. After a month, he checks my weight, and my weight has gone down by 1 kg, and he says, wow, celebration time, go and enjoy, eat what you want. So what happens is, this small achievement of mine is helping me go towards my larger goal. Now, had I not lost my 1 kilo of weight, my instructor would have changed his plan of exercise and diet and seen that why I'm not going. So always, whatever goals I need to have has to be measurable, should be achievable, should be realistic, and has to be time bound. Is this fine here? Everybody with me? Okay. So we are saying that a goal without a plan is just a wish. Now, many times what happens is, if I have to give my own example, I joined the gym. I was very enthused initially, and I'm sure with all of you, it is always like that. And whenever we start something new, we start with all josh and enthusiasm. But slowly, the enthusiasm dies out. Does it happen with you? Does it die out? That you can type D. So I know that yes, you have also experienced something similar. Yes, anybody's experienced that? Yeah, perfectly. So enthus dies out, right? So what is it that keeps this enthusiasm going? It is something called as your motivation, your internal desire to achieve something. Now, if I want to lose weight, it is my desire to look good. I will do anything out. I'll take all the hardships of going to the gym, exercising, and everything. But if it was my husband who's forcing me that you put on weight and you need to go and run gym, I say, yeah, why should I? I'll go tomorrow, and I keep on procrastinating about it. Why? Because I don't think the need of doing it, but it is somebody else is forcing me. So you cannot force anybody to do anything. It has to come from inside you, right? So motivation is an internal desire that helps you to achieve whatever you want. So you can have a purpose, but till the time you don't have an internal desire, you'll not be able to achieve your goals, your purpose in life. Now, your motivation dies out, then how do you fuel your passion? Is there any ways to fuel your passion? And why does your motivation die out? Because when you start doing something, no, our mind is a powerhouse of thoughts. In a day, we have around 60,000 thoughts coming to us. There could be some thoughts which say, yes, you can do it. But then with this one thought of, yes, you can do it, there might be 5 thoughts that say, it's so difficult. How will you do it? Not possible, yaar. It's so much of hard work. Will it be possible? Will you be able to do it? What if you're not able to achieve it? People will laugh at you. And this is what pulls us down, right? So how do I remove this negative thoughts from our mind and get all positive? That is something called as a self-talk. Okay, now giving you an example. Has it ever happened with you anytime that you are traveling from your office in the night और बहुत late हो चुका है and you have to travel say 20-30 minutes to reach your destination? You have to travel through a highway and all and a very deserted road. Now today when you're traveling on this deserted road, it's very pitch dark, there are no street lights, it's a very windy day and a windy night, and you can hear the rustle of the leaves and all, and it's very scary, you're alone on the road, nobody is there. At this moment, what goes in your mind? How do you feel? Are you feeling comfortable or you get scared? And if you get scared, what do you do? Would somebody like to share it out? Can somebody like to type out what you do at that instance when you're alone in a deserted road, a dark road, and you're alone? What goes in your mind, and what keeps you going? Any experience? Faith, yes. Reaching home. Anybody else? And what faith? What comes as faith? So faith means you must be taking God's name. You must be reading some mantras of yours, right? Yes, rely on God, sometimes God's name, perfectly fine. So when you're doing all these things, what happens is it motivates you. It gives you the inner power that yes, in this situation, I can handle myself. And that is what are your positive affirmations. Yes, Amit saying very rightly, sometimes internal self-talks, perfectly fine. Scenario, we need to give ourselves a push by giving us self-talks, internal talks. What happens is when somebody praises you saying, oh, you're looking good, you're looking beautiful. Do you like it? Yeah, you feel so good about it when somebody praises you, but not every time everybody will go to praise you, right? So at that time, who's going to praise you? You yourself are going to praise you. And how? By giving positive affirmations to yourself. So positive affirmation, nothing, self-talk is nothing but pepping up, boosting up your moral inside, motivating you. Okay. So the positive self-talks are something that starts with I am good, I am capable, I am strong. Okay. So I have given some positive affirmations out here. I am beautiful, I am handsome, I love challenges, I am a winner, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am unique, I am blessed, I am happy. So now it's time for some positive self-talk. So what I want you to do, I want you, each one of you writing one positive self-talk for yourself, so that at any given time when you feel that no, things are not going good for me, you will come out of that phase by giving a positive push to yourself, by giving a positive affirmation to yourself, right? So positive affirmations are, I love challenge, I am a winner, I can do anything I want. These are positive affirmations. Have you written a positive affirmation for yourself? Yes. So Mayank is saying, I'm an achiever. Yes. So like that, we all need to write positive affirmations. There's something called as rule of 21 days. If I keep on reading this positive affirmation to myself for the next 21 days, it becomes a habit. It gets inculcated to me. Then I don't need any external somebody to tell me, because it gives me a self-belief into myself. Okay. Now, Krishna saying, I am bullish. Krishna, bullish is a negative word, right? So there's something called as don't like war. My attention is going towards war. War is a negative word. So जहाँ पे भी मेरा attention जाता है, wherever my focus goes, my energy goes, that thing becomes a reality and comes back to me. So I'm not talking about India-Pakistan war here, but I'm talking about war wherein there can be conflict at home, there can be conflict in the office. So always use positive statements, right? So this is fine. So now we have learned about positive affirmations. We learn about how to keep ourselves positive. What other ways can we keep ourselves positive? What other ways can we keep ourselves positive? By thinking that everything is going to be good. Can we stop browsing about things, making complaints about things? Okay, so Krishna is saying, ma'am, I make money in stock market, so why bullish? Okay. Yeah, I'm optimistic. I need to say that, right? So many times now the markets are very down, and we're talking about I'm losing my money in the market. So instead of saying I'm losing my money in the market, say yes, times are going to be good. I'm going to make money. I'm going to do good in the market. So you're talking positive about it. So don't say I'm losing money, because jahan pe aapka focus ja rahi ho, your focus is going towards losing money. So by default, your energy is going there and you will lose more and more money. So this is power of spoken words. Whatever you speak is very important and it's got lots of power to it. Fine. So now to be positive, we say that whatever happens is always for the good. All well, all well, all well, right? All is well. So everybody remembers the three idiots, all is well. So anything happens in a life, take it as everything is going to be good, because that's a way that God is telling you that don't worry, there's a silver lining somewhere for you, and follow it out, right? So now, so are we getting values here, friends? So if you're getting a value, I want you writing a V out here, please. So I know that yes, everybody's aligned to what I'm saying. Now we go to the next is putting first things first. Now, since I have planned my goals, now to achieve these goals, I also have my planner done for the day, to-do list. So I should know what things I need to do first and what should come afterwards, right? Now, I want to ask you something. Do you all agree that many times we are not able to plan our to-do list, or maybe I'm not able to finish off all the items that I put in my to-do list? Why does it happen? Okay, now before I ask you this question, I'll take you back to your school days, college days. I'm sure you all have appeared in exams, right? And in your exams, you have a test paper, you have objective questions, you have subjective questions. What do you attempt first? The objective or the subjective? Subjective questions have more marks than the objective question. What do you attempt first? Quick. Do you take the subjective first, which is say 70 marks and 30 marks objective, or you take an objective first because they're easier ones? Okay, so Amit says, Advait says we take the objective first. Mayank says I take subjective first. Fine. So when I take an objective first, my purpose is that let me finish all the easy ones first and go to the higher ones. But we don't realize that the higher ones or the subjective ones have got more weightage than the objective ones. Okay, and that is where putting first thing first comes in. That how do I prioritize my to-do list? Okay, so what put first thing first means organizing is executing around your most important priorities so that you get your things right. Okay, so now here we are going to talk about time management. Why time management is important? Now when I'm doing my objective first and then going to a subjective, बहुत बार हमारे questions छूट जाते हैं, and then the main most important questions I'm doing rush fast, right? And in that scenarios I'm not getting scoring a better marks. So now, but then I didn't know that, right? Because I didn't know what is prioritization. So now since I know it, let us see what prioritization means. So time management, I'm sure everybody's aware of it. Time management is how do I maximize my day into this 24 hours? How do I get the maximum time out of my 24 hours? Why do we fail in prioritization? Time management is because there is no goal setting. I'm not done my goal setting. I keep on procrastinating things. I'll not do it today. I'll do it tomorrow, and so on. And I don't have that motivation to do something. I have a self low esteem. I don't have confidence into myself. I don't take my strengths as my strength. I keep on comparing myself to other people, and because of which I'm in a low self-confidence more, right? Now, how do we master time? We master time by prioritizing. We do it by goal setting, decision making, eliminating the not important tasks, and by efficiently using the resources available. So let us see the time management matrix. Now, why time management is important for us? Because if time management is not done, then we have stress. And rightly said by Sudhakar, today it is priority management. Yes, Sudhakar, it is a priority management today. So if I don't manage my time, we are stressed out. So making time productive for us is very important. And we are going to see this technique, which is called as ABCD technique of prioritization. Now, this is a time matrix. Okay. So we need to be in quadrant 2, which is my important and not urgent quadrant. But in reality, what happens is we are always fighting out, and we are always in quadrant 1, which is urgent and important. And these are all firefighting quadrants. So 80% of my tasks should be in important tasks. Now, how do I identify that which are my important tasks? Now, whatever items are there in quadrant 3 and quadrant 4 has to be avoided. And these are what things: junk mails, interruptions, some calls, some meetings. These are certain things that we love to do it, but you need to avoid doing it. Why? Because then you are not able to focus on the important things that helps you to achieve your goals in life. So now going ahead, the prioritization. Okay, the ABCDE method of prioritization. Now, there is Brian Tracy. He has written a book called Eat the Frog. And Brian Tracy is comparing a most important task to a frog. And he's saying that frog, we don't like to eat a frog, right? But imagine that if you have eaten a frog in a day, and then you will rest sure that there could be no difficult thing worse than this happening in my life. So how do I identify which are the most important things in my life? So it says that an item A is a frog in your life. You have to do this, the must do. Uske baad mein comes the tadpole, which is important but not as important as A. Okay, B has to be done first. C is the tasks that would be nice to do, which you like to do, but these are not important for you, so you can let it go. D are the tasks which has to be delegated to somebody else, and E are the tasks which has to be eliminated. So these are the ways by which we are going to prioritize your to-do list. Okay, there is something called as a Pareto principle, which says that if you identify the 20% of the tasks which are important for you, it says that this 20% of the tasks or the activities will generate 80% of the results. So try to prioritize your task in the best way, and then you'll be able to do your things a better way. So now we understood prioritization. Now the question for you all is, who's the most important person in your life? And for this, I need your answer in the chat. Who's the most important person in your life? Come on, let's have it fast. Can somebody chat it out? Okay, Krishna saying myself. Jaswinder saying me. Yes, my family. Sudhakar is saying, Mayank is saying my family. Okay. So whoever saying me or myself, why do you say it's me or myself? And for those who say my family, yes, family is also important. But here we are saying that who's taking care of the family is you. So learn to take care of yourself first, because if you are healthy, you have taken care of yourself, you have accepted the change, you have increased your knowledge power, everything, then you'll be able to take care of your family. But if you have not taken care of yourself, then who is going to take care of your family? Okay, so now here we're going to talk about that if in today's scenario, is it important? Do I need to sharpen my skills also to stay ahead in the competition? And says yes, very much. If you have to take care of your family, very important that you sharpen your skills. And what are the skills that you need to sharpen here? The skills that you need to sharpen here are, I'm talking about sharpen the saw. And as Abraham Lincoln had to say, is that if I have 6 hours to cut a tree, I'm going to use 4 hours to sharpen the saw so that my work gets easier. So for us, what is a saw is nothing but the knowledge, the skills, yourself, because you are the most important person for your family, right? And what are the things that the four dimensions of your life that you need to sharpen? The physical, that is your health, your get good sleep, eat healthy food, right? Spiritual, meditate, do yoga, do exercise, be in nature, go for walks. Mental, read books, read motivating books, increase your knowledge. And social emotional. Now, social emotional is, it will help you to be friends with your people. So this will help you by, sharpening a saw in the social and emotional levels. It will help you to build up your contacts, be with friends, help you to build up your interpersonal as well as intrapersonal relations. By knowing yourself emotionally, you will understand why do I behave the way I behave. So am I getting angry? Is it right for me to get angry? So no, I'm not supposed to be getting angry. Why should I get angry? So when I get angry, I'm reacting, and we have learned from Victor's examples that I don't need to react, I need to respond. So as a proactive person, I need to respond to a situation or to react to a situation. Okay, so these all are different dimensions of our life in which we need to sharpen ourselves so that we can better it out. Okay, so now, friends, we are talking about secret. We have seen some secret mantras and all, right? But there's one which is very critical to us, and that will decide whether all these mantras that we have seen is going to help us or not. So anybody can tell me what is that I'm talking about? What is the most crucial thing that we need to do so that all these mantras helps us out? Anyone? And we started our session with the same thing, saying that the key to our success is what? Manage self. Okay, so how do I manage myself? Believe. Perfectly fine. So Advait says this. Advaita is saying that believe. So yes, till the time I don't have a belief into myself that I can do it, nobody can make you do it, right? So belief is very important. And I will give you a short story here. A belief. There's a story of an elephant. There was a traveler who's passing through a camp, okay, and he sees this big elephant tied by a thin thread. And he's wondering that how come they're not attempted to run away from there. So he's finding a trainer, elephant trainer, and is asking them, I'm curious to know why are these big elephants not running away, breaking them free from the camp and going out? Because they're not tied by chains, but they're just tied by thin threads. And how are these thin threads going to stop them? So I'm quite confused and I want to know why. And you know what the trainer is telling him? The trainer is telling him that when they were brought into this camp, they were small, they were young, and this thin ropes were sufficient to tie them up. Now, over the years, they have become big, but they have adopted the belief that this rope, the thin rope, is sufficient to hold them. It is not possible to break free. Okay, so they have been conditioned to think that they will not be able to break free, and they have never tried when they grew up. So friends, don't we also cling on to our old beliefs and restrict our growth? And from where does this old belief come to us? There are some past events, something happens into your childhood wherein maybe as a sibling, somebody told you, see, you're not good, your brother is better than you. You're not clever, you're not hardworking, you're not good. And your office, somebody tells me, your boss is telling me, you're not good. तुम्हें काम करना अच्छा नहीं लगता है, तुम्हें काम करना नहीं आता है. Look at that, you are so slow burger, you are not knowledgeable, you are not clever, you're not. So all those things gets into your subconscious mind, and you knowing, not knowing, it starts impacting on you. And how does then this becomes a belief? This is in your mind as your thought. So simple example, अगर मुझे साइकिल चलानी है तो मुझे दिमाग में है, डर है कि मैं साइकिल चला पाऊंगी नहीं चला पाऊंगी. Okay, now I get this thought that I don't think so I'll be able to ride this bicycle. Now with that thought, I ride and I have this feeling that I will fall. What if I fall and if I get hurt? Right? That is a thought in my mind. With that thought, I'm going to ride a bicycle and I have a feeling of fear. I fall down because of this and I get hurt. Now this thought and feeling and action and belief, it gets confirmed as my belief. And then any given time I try to ride a bicycle, my disbelief comes and haunts me saying, no, you will not be able to do it. Why? Because earlier also you had tried to do it and you fell down. So if we need to succeed in life, we will have to come out of the belief which is holding us back. Because the beliefs are in the past. Today I am in the present and I want the future, right? So if I try to look into the future by taking an example of my past, I'm sure not going to succeed. So my past is my past, my present is my present. I need to learn from my present and move towards my future. So are you all with me here? Right? So a very good quote from Swami Vivekananda, which says, you cannot believe in God until you believe in yourself. Right? So friends, do you believe into yourself? So if you believe into yourself and if you feel that, yes, I have to work onto my belief, my mindset to achieve whatever I want. So, and the success is in your hands. So please type a S, so I know that you all are with me and you all have gained some insight into what success means to us and how can I better myself out from here onwards. So can I see a S in your type box, please? Chat box. Yes. So the formula for success, yes, we are winding up. The formula for success is see your goal, understand the obstacles, create a positive mental frame, clear your mind of self-doubt, embrace the challenge, stay on track, and show the world you can do it. So friends, are you all with me in here? Are you all going to prove to the world that yes, you can achieve what you want to achieve in life and be successful? Yes? So, do you? Now this is a question to all of you, which you decide now. The most common way people give up the power is by thinking they don't have any. So do you think you don't have the power, or do you think you have the power? So the choice is yours. So friends, we all have the power to do whatever you want. You can move the mountains and you can make your own path. So with this, I end the session as my time is up. So any questions, anything, you can share your feedbacks out here, please. Any thoughts onto this session? So now you can all mute or you can put your things on the chat so that we understand from you. What are your thoughts on it?
Okay.
Okay.
If you can just
Yeah.
close the sharing screen so that everyone can.
Okay. Fine. Fine. Okay. So simply as effective success is a mindset. Advaita is saying, ma'am, you mentioned that we need to believe that, but sometimes our past experiences make us reactive and not proactive. Yes. Right, Advaita. Sometimes our past experiences makes us, but then past is past. Now, whenever those experiences comes back to you, na, tell them, good. Thank you for coming to me. Thanks for there. Okay. But I don't need you now. I have my own experiences which I want to build up in my life. So because see, negative thoughts will keep on coming, but accept the negative also with a thank you, saying thanks for being there in my life. Because negative hai tabhi positive hone wala hai, but then I cannot be too much in a negative. See now, I'm just asking you one question. This is a mango season, right? You all love mangoes and you all buy mangoes. See, I can see smiles on people's faces and all, right? So now when you buy mango and there is a spoiled mango, what you do with mango? Do you let it rot with other mangoes? What you do with a mango? You can speak out. You can unmute and speak it out. Sanjeev wants to say something. Sanjeev, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, if I see a rotten one, I would remove it and throw it in the garbage.
You will throw it out, right? You will not let that rotten
mango
with the other mangoes. Yeah. Why? Why will I not do that?
Because I don't want the other ones to get rotten.
Perfect. It is the answer. So that one negative thought, if it comes to your mind, say fine, thank you for coming, and discard it out. Throw it out. Don't let that one negative thought rot all your positive thoughts. And what happens? See, negative is always negative because It is pulling you down. Your self-esteem goes down. So tell him, fine, thank you, thanks for your opinion, but I don't need you as of now. I have my own opinion. I have my own, success. Or I have my own positive thoughts, which I want to go ahead with.
So it basically,
That you will have to go ahead.
it's a domino effect that you say.
Yes, it's a domino effect, right? Okay, so somebody is saying that don't brood over the spilled milk, look forward and so that. Yes, very good. One bad idea runs the rest, but ruins perfectly fine. So yes, you all are getting what I'm saying easier for mangoes. Attachment with experience is way higher. Yes, Amit, I understand that. Time is a big healer, but the thing is, see, if you cling on to your past, okay, understand one thing. The past that you're talking about was a present at some time. है कि नहीं है? Yeah? So, and at that time, that was a present. And today it's become a past. Okay? So, let the past be a past. Don't let that past come into your present and spoil your present and your future. Your future can only be successful, or you can achieve whatever you want with the present mindset wherein you are free of your past. And this is what you only will have to work out in your thought process, because nobody else can help you out, but you yourself will have to work out. And yes, Amit, I'll share you my number. We can always talk it out, because I work on emotional intelligence. I'm a behavioral counselor, so we can work out one-to-one, and I can help you out in there. So as of now, I've been getting timeout, signals. So I'm just putting across my number out here. It's 98208-49415. Right? Any other experience that you have on the session, please?
Farida, the session was excellent.
Yes, Sanjeev.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody must have enjoyed it. The positivity that you have put into us. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you so much.
Sanjeev, well said, Sanjeev, because 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is the one book that I read every time. And every time I read, every time there is one sense of feeling that I get from this book. So the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is now imbibed in my head in such a fashion. So that's the only one book Stephen Covey has written.
Stephen Covey, yes. I couldn't take all the habits because time, a big constraint, so I had to rush up
to
things.
It will cut off,
Much faster.
Yeah, Farida, just 1 minute. Yeah. Just I'll take one. This is Mayank here.
Yeah, man.
I just had one query. The Eat That Frog that you had shared.
Yeah.
I have read a lot of times on about Getting Things Done by David Allen.
Okay.
So is these two different things, or both are on a similar?
Everyone comes up with a different theory. Okay. So this Brian Tracy ka jo theory is based on one quote that Mark Twain had written. Okay, and Mark Twain ne likha tha that if you begin a day by eating a live frog, then you will be rest assured the whole of the day that nothing bad can happen with you. Okay, so this one quote, Brian Tracy worked on it, and he came out with different versions of it. And Brian Tracy is connecting a frog to my most difficult task. And many times it so happens, see, when I asked you questions about when you in exam paper, you give subjective or objective first, and many of you said we do objective first and then subjective. Now subjectives are the ones which are more scoring, which helps you to achieve the most targets in your life. These are the difficult tasks, okay, and we keep on procrastinating them and say baad mein karenge, and because you procrastinate, that becomes urgent and important. So what Brian Tracy is saying is that this important tasks are the frogs in your life. So eat them first, and then you can be rest assured that nothing can be worse than the frogs that I have written, and your day can go in a better way. Okay, so now he's also comparing, he's putting two frogs. He's saying one is an ugly frog and one is a beautiful frog. Okay, now if you eat a beautiful frog first, then you still have to eat an ugly frog, right? So that is again a procrastination. Abhi to ugly को और भी खाना ही है. So he's saying that why not eat the ugly frog first and then you will be satisfied. You'll be self-motivated कि अगर इतना ugly को खा लिया है, so time beautiful को तो मैं खा ही लूँगा. So this is how he is looking at the different tasks. So, and as per the Pareto principle, it says that 20% of the activities that you do gives you 80% results. So try to identify the most important tasks and work on those tasks. Then the remaining tasks you did not do. Okay, then you can delegate those things out.
Thank you.
So yeah, any other questions?
Okay, so thank you, Farida, for being on this platform and sharing us and giving us insights on the 7 habits of highly effective people again. So this was a wonderful session, all the brush ups again,
Yes.
kind of a buttering with the skills and thoughts that you had today.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you so much for being a part of the session, and thank you so much, L&D Global. Thank you for being on this platform. Everybody were a lovely audience altogether. Was an interactive session by Farida here. So thank you, audience. Stay tuned, stay watching. Tomorrow again with a live session at 7 p.m. Collaborate, co-create.
Thanks to Pravesh also, and thanks for Lockdown Series for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Good session and a value add. Thank you, Farida.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, everyone. Stay tuned, stay watching. Collaborate, co-create, and contribute.
Bye. Thank you so much. Bye.